What's going on, guys? This is Joe Young coming out to another video today. So today I got to do a bunch of trimming along with just moving around plants. We're going to start off with the 60p tank here. I have not been maintaining this tank as much as I should, but as you can see here we have one melted Iryo Japan Shiga that I need to remove, trim back, and maybe it'll grow back. It doesn't look like we have any growth, so this might be a dead plant, but I'm going to go ahead and trim it back. Replant some of these guys because they're getting dug up by the fish, and then kind of move stuff around. Like some of these can be split here into probably two. I'll put them into different areas so that we can kind of get a better ratio, I guess, because there's a lot of empty areas over here. There's a lot of empty areas in the back there. So let's go ahead and let's feed the fish, because it's actually time to feed the fish. Let's start with that. Get these guys all happy and eating. While they're eating there, go ahead, grab my scissor here. Got my scissors, and I'm gonna go ahead and start the magic process here. First, I'm gonna pull this guy here. I think this guy's dead. Yeah, he's dead. And the way to tell, I mean, it sucks that it died because you know this plant was growing really well. It happens, but what you can tell is if everything up here is melted, and if you kind of squeeze a little bit here, it's kind of soft, and that's where the rhizome is. And if it's kind of soft, you know that is a goner for these types of plant. Alright, so let's start with this guy here. So this guy is actually planted really well. So what I'm going to do is pull some of this up front here. And there, it looks like I can cut straight across here. Go ahead and cut that. Actually, it's a little bit cloudy. Make sure that I get a good clean cut. Yeah, right here. And actually, if you look, it looks like it's already split. So I'm going to go ahead and just cut it straight down here. Like so. That's one good cut. Pull this guy out. So you got another plant. Man, this substrate is super messy. This is the ADA substrate, but this is the other version of the ADA substrate, and this one's like more clay base. So super messy. But it grows plants really well. So kind of trade off, I guess. Alright, so the other one that I need to trim is this guy here. This one looks like a good split I can do straight down the middle again with this one. So I'm going to push this down here, get a clean cut, pull this guy up on the base. And it looks like we actually can do two more. Another small semi-cut. Alright, so that's what happens when you stick your hand in the tank and just like stir everything up. It gets super crazy and dirty. Everything will settle probably in a couple hours here, so I'm not too worried. I did end up splitting two of the Japan Shigas. I kind of filled up the front a little bit, but you guys won't be able to see it just because it's so cloudy. So let's go ahead and move on to the next tank and let's cut some more plants. Alright, so we're back at the ultimate angelfish tank. As you can see here, this plant is getting actually really large, also with this plant here. You also already have a little one in between, so I'm only going to cut this guy here and put it in this spot because we had the mom plant, the OG mom plant that died, so we need to replace that area. And we'll do the same thing here, feed these guys. It's dinner time for them, let them start eating. So I wanted to show you guys the plant here. It's actually really nice and big. It's kind of squished up against the actual glass here, so this leaf is kind of bent. But I'm gonna go ahead and pull this out here and actually get a good look at it to cut. Let's go ahead and do that first. It's actually really rooted down here. Oh wow! You see the little root down here? It's getting pulled up. Okay. Yeah, this plant has been established for a while. Wow, look at that. Look at that plant. Wow, look at that plant. That plant has some really nice growth. A lot of dead leaves on the bottom here because it was blocked. No worries there. We'll just go ahead and pick those off first. Easy. Alright, so this plant is really nice and healthy. There is some algae on the leaves here that kind of hugged against the wall last time you saw there. But everything else, like this one's kind of algaed up, but everything else looks really nice and healthy. So I'm going to go ahead and look for a good spot to cut this. I basically cut it straight in the middle here. As you can see here, I didn't lose any leaves, but the plant is pretty much split in half down the center here. This one has a little bit less roots. But this one's going to recover just fine because it has a new leaf here. This one here, as you can see, cut straight down the middle. This one has more roots. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to plant the smaller one of the two here, plant it back to where it was, and then I'm going to find another spot for the other one with larger leaves, maybe right here, over here somewhere. So I'm going to go ahead and start with the little one. And I'll go ahead and replant this one down here. This one has the new leaves back, so they'll grow back in nicely. And what I like to do with these plants, because they tend to kind of like to float a little bit if they get uprooted. So what I like to do with these plants is I like to kind of just throw down like a something to hold, like a weight, like a sinker or something like that, to kind of hold it down. All right, so I threw in the plant there. I used this right here. I just kind of anchor it down a little bit. I'm gonna go ahead and plant the other plant towards the center area. That one's a little bit more roots, and I'll let that one kind of establish on the middle there instead of closer to the wall. These are for smaller. It's meant for a little bit smaller plants, so we'll move it towards the middle here. All right, so I'm moving to the middle here. So here's the other bigger plant. It has more roots. And I want it to kind of be able to kind of spread a little bit better. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna remove this Aerial Vietnam here. I'm actually kind of making space and pushing it back a little bit anyways. This one's actually one of the bigger ones here that's been established really well. If you guys are interested in some, they're available on aquatic.com. Look at this, super nice. It's actually really bushy, really nice too. All right, so I got that plant split into two, and the other plant's right behind this plant, planted, anchored down, similar to this other plant over here. I'm gonna let this tank settle, kind of like wash up the debris. The fish were kind of just like running around. They're like, what's going on? So I'm gonna let this tank settle. I'm gonna let them do their thing, and I'm gonna go ahead and move on to the next tank. All right, finally we're out inside in the rack system, messing around with the last tank here. And as you know, this tank was covered in algae in the front here for a while. I got that taken care of by adding in the pleco. I don't know if you guys can see here. He's kind of in the far left. I don't think you guys can see here. Yep. There he is. He's in the far left here. He's in that cave, chilling. So what I'm gonna do here, I'm gonna go in here and kind of pick out some of the remaining algae that's in the tank. There is some moss in the tank that is not needed and not wanted in the tank, I guess. That kind of just hitchhiked from other plants or whatever. Can go ahead and start removing that. But also it is feeding time, so I'm gonna go ahead and give them a little bit of food here while we go ahead and mess around with the tank. All right, so I'm gonna start off with this plant here, remove any unwanted plants so that these plants can actually grow back completely correctly. Another thing I'm going to do here, it's kind of just a mini trick, is I'm going to spray some with hydrogen peroxide outside here. I'll show you what I mean. So grab the plant here, go ahead and just do a quick spray like so. Hydrogen peroxide, this is straight 100% hydrogen peroxide, or the 3% I guess from the bottle, not diluted. Peel off any unwanted algae here. And the rest will be taken care of via the algae eaters in the tank. So I'm not too concerned there. So I'm gonna go ahead and replant this tank here. I'm gonna go ahead and replant this plant here in see over here. This guy here. Some of it will be salvageable, some of it won't be, and that's okay. All right, and finally, I'm gonna go ahead and trim some of these plants. A lot of the plants back here are growing too tall, and I need to trim them and put them back down so that they can actually get light in front here and in the back as well. It looks like a lot of these plants in here got uprooted, so I'm gonna go ahead and replant those guys. today was kind of a really busy day, just kind of really trimming plants, moving plants around, cleaning up the tanks and the outside for a little bit. A bunch of water changes that were kind of off camera you guys didn't see, and kind of just wrap things up. And as you can see, if you leave things kind of like not maintained, either plants will die or plants won't grow, you'll have algae development. And this is what you're kind of seeing in a lot of my tanks. It's just because I can't get to all the tanks. And this is the drawbacks of having multiple tanks, is you can't really do 100% like commitment to, you know, one tank or multiple tanks to try to keep it nice. If I only had like maybe 1 or 2 tanks, definitely the tanks would look super nice and super clean every day, all day. But I don't, just because I want a little bit more variety. And because of that, I'm paying, you know, a little bit of a price in terms of just having algae everywhere, plants not growing really well. And also, one thing I wanted to announce was I did start a Joey Young Aquariums webpage or website. It's called JY Aquariums. Just shorten it so that it's a little bit easier for you guys to kind of just Google and type in. JYAquariums.com is going to be kind of my blog site where, you know, if I find stuff interesting, I'll kind of post it on an article form, because I might not have time to do videos for a full video. And also, if I find cool videos, I can, you know, comment on it, summarize it, you know, share it so that you guys can check it out as well. I think that will probably be a little bit easier than kind of making videos randomly for me, just because I don't have all the time in the world to, you know, sit down, do a video and edit. So I think that that will definitely be pretty cool. So it's just a work in progress right now. I just kind of made it live. I had 2 articles posted up. Definitely go check it out. Let me know what you guys think. Give me some feedback on it. And like always, until next time, guys, peace.